Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Eileen Yue Ling Han from the Academy of Acupuncture. I'm the director, and today we have this wonderful Sunday share. Usually, I always invited one of our big brother or big sister for Balanced Method community, Balanced Method Acupuncture community. And this time, I'm breaking the rules and I inviting my very favorite teacher who taught I Ching in March for our powerhouse workshop is Dr. Harmen Mesker. And he is all the way
I'm
from,
I'm not I'm not I'm not a doctor.
okay, Mr. To me, that the doctor is you get it from the school. You are the only person and self-study for I Ching since you were 16 years old. And we will talk about that story too. Why a young man, 16 years old, don't go out dating girls and he's studying I Ching.
Whoa! I never said that. I didn't never said that I wasn't dating any girls. That's
Okay.
your assumption. You,
Okay.
you know
Oh,
you
that's me.
you can combine I Ching with dating girls. In fact, I Ching and dating girls go very well together, Eileen.
Wow. You know what? I really want to continue this subject before I even introduce you. Tell us, what is the I Ching helps you to get girls? Maybe you can help Sean too.
Eileen, that's a separate course, and we'll have to talk about that later.
I will definitely invite you for helping you, all the audience here today, to get to be able to use the I Ching, the prediction to find out where is your loved ones and how which direction you should get it. But we have so many case studies, so many things we can talk about today, and 30 minutes is too short. So I
Definitely, but
personal huh?
But there is at least one person in the room there with you who would be very interested in that course.
Yes, I know. At least he will pay like $5,000 just to have your time to learn
Definitely.
that, and then I can pay you. So and then we can go eat at somewhere good restaurant. And okay, before we start, I like to have all of you please sign in and tell me where you're from, which country, where you are, your next door neighbors. And I saw Lindsay, I saw Andrea. And please tell me where you're from. And Heidi from Austria, Heidi Adder. And I have Hiroko from Canada, Robert Chu from Los Angeles, and I have Lars from Norway, and Kim Dela Cruz, and I don't know where you're from, but let me know where you are. Karen Chen and Lorca. Great. And who else? Let me see. David is asking me, when are you going to have your next book? David Fried.
No, David. Hi, David. I don't know. I have no idea.
And
Working on it.
Lindsay. And Kim says that David, you can help to write the book in
Good
Pasadena,
idea.
California. Sorry. Leslie from Netherlands. Oh my God, all your people is on.
Yes, I have fans. I know I have fans. Yes.
Did you share this on your Facebook?
No, not yet, actually. I can do it now, I think.
And Wesley Tasker from Massachusetts, Somerville. Tran Fan from Santa Barbara, Wesley. And great Christina Torres from Chicago. All right, now that's all the people that we have for now. And
Great.
Patricia from Germany.
Oh, hi, Patricia.
Yes, it's also from your side of the continent. So now,
Yes.
no further ado, let me introduce you, Harmen Mesker, a renowned expert on the history and language of the Yi. In case you want to know what the Yi means, it's Yi Jing, and he will tell you more about the Yi. Okay. Mr. Harmen Mesker began his study of the I Ching, the Chinese Book of Changes, in 1982 at the age of 16 years old. Harmen is a founding member of the Dutch Foundation for I Ching Studies and chief editor for the Dutch edition of the Richard Wilhelm's I Ching translations. In the 2018, Harman founded the I Ching Research Center to share the many interpretations of the I Ching practice in ancient China with the international community. Additionally, Harman is frequently consulted to assist with the translation of the old Chinese texts and had an advisory roles in the several Dutch translation of the Taoist inner alchemy Nei Dan texts. Be sure to visit Harman's social media, YouTube, YITUBE, on YouTube channel with instructional videos on all aspects of the E. Also, his website is very simple to remember, yjcn.nl. Let's welcome Mr. Mesker. Yay!
Yay.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's great to see you again, Eileen.
Great. And Alex Costa from Brazil saying hi.
Oh, oh, hello.
I know. And
Hello.
Roderick from Brazil. All the Brazilian gentlemen all show up.
Excellent.
And Lauren from Los Angeles. Now, tell us, at your age of 16, the reason that you're involving with I Ching.
Oh dear. You know, I still don't know why I became interested in the I Ching. My father had this subscription to an macrobiotic magazine because he was into microbiotic gardening, and you needed the moon calendar for that. And this magazine had the moon calendar, so that's why he had this subscription. And one of their issues had this article about the I Ching, and that was at the end of 1982, and that's how it started. I found it very interesting. I didn't understand anything about the I Ching at that time, but I wanted to know more about it. And what I found really interesting is that this article said that there were thousands of people studying the I Ching all over the world. But when I wanted to know more about it, I couldn't find any books or articles about it. So that's what really intrigued me. So that is when I started to read everything about it that I could find, first in Dutch, of course, and then in English. And later on, I also thought, well, if I want to understand the I Ching in the way it is understood in China, and especially in ancient China, I also started to study Chinese. So, but the real reason why I became interested in the I Ching, I don't know. I think I just needed it, Eileen. I think I just needed the book to be with me for all these years. But you know, certain things happen, and probably when I'm on my deathbed, I will realize, oh, that's why. But for now, I'm really still not really sure why I became interested in the eating. It
Got
just
it.
happened.
So how do I get to know Harman? Is one of my colleague. His name is Christian Saint Pierre. Is our instructor for the Academy of Acupuncture for the French courses and also our Bazi Chinese astrology seminar, the three essentials. And he's our instructors in the chrono analysis. He introduced me who Harman is, and after I met him in March, we taught a wonderful class is I Ching for the optimum health to combine the I Ching with the balance method. And Christian was the main instructor for teaching the transforming from the I Ching to balance method. And I was the one who hold this class together and get to know Harman. And March 12th is a time when the borders are shutting down. So we did it very emergency transfer for Mr.
Yeah.
Harmon.
Oh my God. Yeah. 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 I remember. Yes,
Yes,
because normally I would. The actual flight was scheduled 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after March 12th, and but I remember that on Thursday, Christian called and said, "Well, they're going to close the border. Can you come now?" And my first response was, "Well, no, of course I can't. It's impossible to schedule a flight at this in such a short time." So, but then Eileen, you actually said, "Well, consult the I Ching about it," and I consulted the I Ching about it, and the first thing that I said to myself, before I threw the coins, I said to myself, well, if the hexagram contains trigram thunder, which means you have to act quickly. If the hexagram contains that trigram, it most likely means that I have to go immediately. So I consulted the I Ching, and the hexagram did have this trigram thunder. So, and also had trigram lake, which has to do about don't worry and keep a positive attitude. So, but the fourth line was moving, which is the line of assisting and helpers. So I decided that I would go immediately, but I needed help for that because the fourth line was the line of helpers. And you brilliantly helped me to get to San Diego, Eileen. So you and Christian actually made it happen.
So what happened is I did very cute question. I said, "You're the I Ching master. You're supposed to throw the I Ching to find out are you moving or not. Don't just refuse us." And then I have everything set up because the seminar is the powerhouse workshop is a big seminar for me, for the academy. It's that once a year, big seminars. And then he is the featured speaker and the border is going to shut down. And what am I going to do with this? So I right away make sure that he will be here. And then he performed this wonderful seminar for I Ching for optimum health. It's currently is online seminar. And yes, Lindsay was there and she was just typing to say hi to Dr. Harmen. Can you put the link out for the I Ching seminar? And then it was wonderful. Can you take a screenshot and paste it on? So that was the first time I met Mr. Harmen. His fun, his humor is very different than the regular humor here. So I always have that face like, what are he trying to say? Was that a joke? He's really funny. And every look at it, he's turning red now. So this is how I met him. So this time I also asked him another class for us is for the depth in the depth study of the trigram. So he agreed to teaching this class in January 23, 24. And I'm very excited. That would be 2-day class. I also fly him in to San Diego. So if the pandemic is not going to close in the border and I'm going to see him again in San Diego, and I'm hoping if you guys are coming, because I do have 8 students wants to be here in class with us. So I'm so excited. This is the class on the screen sharing I Ching trigram. And this will be the class at 2 days, only $450, and really, really good price for you to get to know more about the I Ching trigram. Because we study acupuncture with I Ching, but we have not understand depth of I Ching. Usually people just read it on the book, but that is somebody else's interpretation. Of course, I'm going to have Harmen tell us more about the I Ching and all the I Ching books. So now I'm going to give this the mic to Harmen, so he'll be able to tell us more about the I Ching and the interpretation of the book, why your I Ching method are so awesome that you can read the trigram to understand what is the universe trying to tell us.
Okay. Yes. Well, yeah, I think for especially for people who work with Chinese medicine, the I Ching can really be a helpful tool. And in this 2-day course, we're going to focus on the trigrams. Actually, we're only going to talk about the trigrams. Yeah, the 8 trigrams, and we're going to look at these the trigrams from more general perspective, how you can interpret the trigrams for every question that you consult the I Ching for, but also, of course, for the medical application. And actually, the medical application of these trigrams is already quite old. And one of the most famous manuscripts that shows this link between medical application of the I Ching and parts of the body, etc., is the Shifa manuscript. And I'm going to share my screen now because this is one of my most favorite ancient manuscripts. That's the Shufa manuscript. And if you look at this manuscript, then you see in the top left corner there is this puppet. And people often call it the monkey. It's not a monkey. It's just a puppet. It's not a
There is a
monkey.
monkey.
It's not a monkey.
I
Eileen,
think
don't
there is
call it a
monkey.
monkey. It's there in the top left corner. There's that puppet. But I have another screen and where it's a little bit bigger here on the left.
Oh,
That's the same
wow.
puppet, and it's not a monkey. And this is actually the oldest source for the link with the trigrams and parts of the body. Because when you look at the this puppet, then you see trigrams everywhere. There at the feet and there at the thighs. We have trigrams at the hands. And this is how trigrams are connected to parts of the body. And when you consult the I Ching for medical purposes, you can use this. You can use these associations of the trigrams with parts of the body. And that's actually one of the oldest usages of these trigrams. And this is just summary of a few of these associations for the eight trigrams with parts of the body, but it's also connected to symptoms. And the trigram fire, for instance, is here connected to the eyes, which is one of the oldest associations, but it's also connected to the heart. And that is how these trigrams can help you to get a diagnosis of your client. But also when you don't know what to do with the client, and we all have these clients, which you are stuck and you don't really know what you need to do. And the I Ching can really help you with that. So that is what we're going to focus on in this 2 days course. We're going to look at these eight trigrams from every possible angle. We're going to look at the associations of these trigrams. We're going to look at changing trigrams and so-called Bauti, etc. And that's actually what we're going to do in this 2 day course. It's really going to be exciting, and this will definitely be something in it for everyone.
Yes, I can see. Oh my God, the eyes, the ear is the water, and the kidney, water, the ear.
Yes,
Oh my God, that
exactly.
totally makes sense.
Yeah, and you, for instance, you have here the trigram wind, which is connected to the thighs. But
Uh-huh.
when we think of wind, you can also make the association with breathing, with the lungs, etc. So it's a complete whole world that is opening up because of these eight trigrams. So, and personally, I think that everyone who wants to study the I Ching should start with these eight trigrams. Most people start with reading the text, and my personal opinion is that you should start with these trigrams because they are the basic building blocks of the I Ching.
Yeah, the reading is too much. There's so many
Yes,
books.
definitely.
Which one to start? We should start with the trigram first, right?
Yeah, because you
Absolutely.
only have eight trigrams, whereas you have 450 different pieces of text. 450, Eileen. So, and these are all different, whereas you only have eight trigrams which cooperate together, and that's far more easier to work with.
I
So,
totally enjoy your just this 2 second, 2 minutes of introductory about this. I'm already want to take all of your classes. So what more can you give us other than just the eight trigram? Do we do Fu Xi Gua, Wen Wang Gua? What else? What
yes,
else
we will
on
look.
top of your I Ching more we can know?
Yes, we will definitely look at the Venn-Van trigram circle. That's the trigram circle you see here on the right, because that's actually also the trigram circle that is mentioned here in the Silva manuscript. We will look at that. We will also look at the Fushi trigram circle. Actually, we're going to use everything that is connected to the eight trigrams from every possible angle. We're going to look at old examples of trigram usage for I Ching interpretations. Of course, we're also going to look at medical examples, and students also can bring in their own personal examples for medical cases and also personal cases. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to look at moving trigrams, actually changing trigrams, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think after this 2 day workshop, the trigrams will never be the same for you anymore.
Yes, I definitely noticed that already because right now every time I see the lake, I see the joy.
Excellent. Yeah, that's how it
I see
works.
the thunder, I start moving faster.
Wow. Yeah, but that's how it works with these trigrams. And because of their They're actually each trigram is actually a container with different associations and different symbols, metaphors. And when you understand these associations and when you know how you can apply them, then it's a completely new way of looking at the I Ching, but also a different way of looking at your own profession as an acupuncturist.
Excellent. 老师, I also have a case study I want to share. It's from you. And I'm going to tell the background story and I'm going to list the screenshot. So on March 31st is where the Lao Shi was in San Diego. And my parents are a little bit older now. My dad is 96 and my mother is 80 years old. And I planning to move them down to San Diego for a while, but they won't do it. They will not. They are in Northern California. The weather is really cold and they will not move. And I tried it in many years. And then so I asked Lao Shi, can you help me to find out if this time, if I ask them to move, will they move? Will they move? Right. And we come out with this trigram. This is the trigram that I did it for my dad. So you can see that moving down to San Diego, March 31st, 2020. So you can see all this trigram. I don't have a book to read. I don't have anything to understand. And I have nothing. I have only the teacher. At that time, we learned a little bit about this. So I understand when I saw the thunderground and then all that. So makes me understanding maybe something that Lao Shi can interpret it for me. So Lao Shi, what that was the gua that I have. So if you guys are interested to get to know what's going on, and Lao Shi can tell everybody and exactly what I Ching was telling me, and exactly happened. So my dad moved in to my house in November 15th, which is couple days ago. So my mom and dad is already moved down to San Diego. So, 老师, it's your turn now. Thank you.
Yes, it was a very interesting hexagram. I normally I write on the screen, but that's not that I can't do that right now. But what was interesting in this hexagram is that there's a nuclear trigram heaven in it, which represents the father. So we actually have the topic of the question in this hexagram, the trigram father, heaven. But that's the nuclear trigram, and is Shant going to write on the screen now? That would be helpful. I'm not sure if you can do that, but anyway. But it's being surrounded or blocked by trigram thunder, and the thunder has to do with immediately and sudden change. So that's also what is needed here. But what I liked about this hexagram, Eileen, is that it also has the trigram lake, happiness and joy in it. Shant, what are you doing? My screen is flashing. And that also means with the trigram lake that you don't really have to worry about how things will turn out. If you focus on the joy and the happiness that getting together, getting your father and your mother with you, that the joy that it will bring you, if you focus on that, then everything will turn out fine. So every arrangement that you made to get them to San Diego, I'm sure it will work out fine. So you don't have to worry about that. So, but the third line is moving here in the hexagram. The third line is often the line of the tough decisions. And with the third line, you already have made some progress. You're not really at the start of the whole idea, but you already have made some progress. And now you have to move on to the next phase. And that was where you were in March. You had already made some ideas and preparations for getting your father. So that's when you had to make the decision. Okay, now we're going to move to the next phase of this whole project. So, but that's exactly what you did, Eileen. So and that's exactly what is happening right now. So I think the hexagram helped you to see things in the right perspective and also to give you the right focus to make it happen what you actually wanted to happen. So, and that's what I like about the I Ching is that it not only gives you the right and proper perspective of the situation, but it also helps you to accomplish what you actually want to accomplish. So you can the I Ching can make it easier for you to reach your goals, because this getting your father and your mother to San Diego was one of your goals,
Yes.
and now you have finally you're really working towards that goal. So actually, I think you're already there, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So so that's why I want to bring this case up for everybody, because the March 31st, that is just a conversation that are they going to move down until November the 15th. My parents there, and especially when the Lao Shi was saying that the yang right here, the nuclear trigram is father, yang, three yang is the father of the house. So he says if the father of the house is showing in the trigram somewhere, that means is talking about your father, definitely. And then you can see, and then also he says the thunder, because the fire changed to thunder, which is this one, and become, you have to move faster. So that's why he says the decision is already made, you just need to do the job. So I told my parents I want them to come down, so they moved down to April to September, just to testing the water, see how they like the San Diego, and they see that I committed to make sure they are coming down. So I called, so they moved back. They went back on September, and November the 15th they complete move down to San Diego. So I like to thank you for me to be able to, be confirmed and confident that I can do this and I can make it happen. So thank you for the helping and the consultation. And I'm hoping every one of you be able to learn this method and just reading the trigram instead of reading the books, because that might not really introduce the really message that you need.
Yeah, and it's also you get a really quick answer. When you understand the trigrams, you immediately can see what's going on, and you can get your conclusions really quick. That's what I like about the eight trigrams. You don't have to study all these books and read all these texts, and because you can immediately see what's going on.
That's
So
right. And before we leave today, Lao Shi has one of the case study, medical case study that he like to share. So no further ado, let's have Lao Shi talk
yes,
about the medical case. And then we might over time today, please forgive us. And then we will try to be on time, but you won't leave anyway. So this is a really fun case. I want you guys
so
to.
you're not going to leave. So because this is way too much fun. But before I start with the case, I want to know everyone that this is not how my room normally looks. Normally, I don't have this white background, but Eileen is so much dedicated to quality that she made me redecorate my room to have this white background. But normally, you have the curtains here, and there's a chair over there. But Eileen made me completely redecorate the room. That's how dedicated Eileen is to quality. So when you study with Eileen, you know you will get the quality that you need. So
Yes,
let's go to my presentation.
thank you.
Um, where is the
Okay.
whiteboard?
And Connolly from London, UK, she's here. And who else is here? Tell me where you're from. Okay, Mark Montoya from Colorado. Steven Stettens, where are you from? We don't know. Joe from Northern California. Joe,
Eileen, are you interrupting my case?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just you're preparing. Thank you. I shut up now.
Okay. A few weeks ago, I gave a class for an acupuncture organization in Antwerp, and one of the students got this hexagram with 5 moving lines. And when you have a hexagram with 5 moving lines, you know there's definitely something going on. It was a case of a patient who had migraines for many, many years, and everything that the student who was an acupuncturist, everything that he tried didn't work. Tried everything, and this patient already had seen several other doctors, and nothing worked. Well, what I found interesting in this hexagram is that we have here a trigram heaven, and we have here trigram heaven, and we have here trigram heaven. We have already seen trigram heaven in your case. Exactly, the head. The head, and it has to do, of course, with migraine. But when there is so much heaven going on, and especially because with all these moving lines, it can point to imaginary diseases. So diseases that are more mentally related, more psychological, and also because you have, I'm going to get another color. We have trigram lake here, which is completely unbalanced, which means that you are living in a cloud, in a pink cloud, and you're not really connected to reality. Which means that this patient most likely had these psychosomatic issues. So, not really physical problems, but because of all these young lines here and all these moving young lines in Trigram's heaven. What this patient probably needed was not so much an acupuncturist, but more a psychologist or someone who was able to work with pain and help your patient to deal with pain. That would also be a good suggestion, but it's not with so many of these young lines. It's definitely not um, a problem with the body, but it's probably a mental problem. And the student actually found this very helpful because now he knew what to do and to have a good conversation with the patient about past issues and when the problem started, and not so much focusing on the body, but more on the mental health of the patient. So, and especially with all these moving lines, that was also showing that is definitely a problem on the head part because the trigram heaven, I'm not sure why I'm drawing this, but trigram heaven has to do with the head and with the brain and everything that's in the head. So that probably pointed to a mental issue and not so much a physical issue. And
Got
that
it.
is how the I Ching actually gave quite good insights in the situation.
老师, one more thing. Can I ask a question? Would that be a growth in the head? Because the first line is yin line. Can that be a tumor or something?
Well, no, the first line is a yang line.
Oh,
The
sorry,
last
the
line,
seventh, the
last
sixth,
line is a yin line.
yeah, the last line.
Well, I like the suggestion, Eileen, but this person already had all these MRI scans,
Ah,
etc., and so nothing showed up. And that's also one of the things that my student asked, of course. What have you done with all the other doctors? What did they do? What kind of treatment did they propose? And what did you already try, etc., etc.? And they had this patient had all the possible scans and checks and whatever. So,
good, good.
so this is how the I Ching can actually quite quickly show you how to deal with a certain patient. I found it an
Wonderful.
interesting case.
Wow. So that would be a great direction for us to start treating the patients. So the mental issues. Of
Yes.
course, you guys want to learn how to do the balancing with the balance method, then you will take the class for I Ching for optimum health. That will translate it for you already in there, that y'all be able to do the treatment according to the gua that you already requesting from the I Ching. So that will
Yeah.
be Christian St. Pierre's teaching. In the future, we will also including that in our future seminars. And this is a great case study. And is everyone still want one more examples about the books that you found for another person, 老师?
What?
The book.
The book?
Yeah, you have
Oh
a
wait. Oh, you mean the case with the lost book?
yes, a lost book. Anyone wants to have one more case? If you say yes, say one. If you say no, say two. So you need to type on the Facebook so we can extend it for another 3 minutes because Lao Si's time is very special and very important. So anyone wants to hear the story? Okay, Tran say yes, and Sean say yes, and Lindsay say yes, and who else? One more. Kim say yes. Lao Si, go ahead. We gotta let Simon say
Okay.
yes. We're gonna have
Okay.
Francis say yes. They want to find the lost book. Mark,
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. 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 I'll do it. I'll do
Fred
it.
say yes again. Patricia from Germany say yes.
Okay, well, this was a case of someone who wanted to know how I read trigrams in a
Yes.
hexagram, and she
Okay,
said, as a
老师，
test, yes,
老师, you gotta explain to them that how you read this instead of reading the book. That would be, give you 30 seconds about it. Come on.
30 seconds.
Yeah, you never really flip in the book to tell us what's going on.
No, I never look at in the book. This is how I read. You see the hexagram now on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this was about a person who was wanted a test case and about a book that she lost for some time. She already found it, but she wanted to know if I could see in the hexagram that she cast where the book was, where she found the book. And she cast this hexagram, and I saw twice this trigram heaven, again heaven, and I thought, well, heaven has to do with something that is high, so I expect the book will be on a high place. And it's all yang lines, so I thought it's probably in a pile of books, because the moving line is here, and these, to me, these lines look like a pile of books, a stack of books. So I thought, well, then this book is probably found within this stack of books, somewhere between. And I also said, well, it's probably a stack of books on the same subject, because all the lines are the same. So, well, she replied, well, that's not bad, because actually the book was found in this pile of books that was on a high shelf. Her husband, who is quite tall, tidied up her room and put this book between some other books. But it wasn't really a stack of books about the same subject, but it was a stack of books of the same book that she got from the author to give away. So that was how the book was found in this pile of books. And that is how actually it works with reading hexagrams and trigrams with images, with Shang, that you turn the hexagram and trigrams into images. And to me, this represented a stack of books. So that's what you're going to work with. So that's really the shortest explanations I've ever given of this case, I think.
Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us, Lao Shi. Thank you very much for your time. And that we are a little bit over the time, but it's all right. And because we
Okay.
do enjoy you chatting with us.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then looking forward to see you again in January. And when you visit San Diego, we can definitely hang out.
Yeah, definitely we will do it. This was fun. Thank you for arranging this, Eileen. Thank you. And well, I'll see you in January, and hopefully also some of the audience.
And also, if you are really enjoying Lao Shi's humor, you can go on to YouTube, YITUBE on YouTube channel. He has a lot of followers and be one of those. And then click on it and listen to Lao Shi, so you will know the teaching style. He's a really fun, loving teacher. And I will see you next time in January 2 to meet with Lao Shi again. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful
Thank you.
day. Thank you, Lao Shi.
Thank
Excellent.
you. Thank you,
I
Eileen.
love your background decoration.
Thank you, Eileen.
Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye, everyone.
Thank you.